Are Christians safe under HTS? In other words, are Christians safe under Abu Mohammed al-Julani, Syria's new leader? So it appears. And the answer is no. Christians are not safe.
Everyone's talking about Syria right now. Here's what you need to know. Two extremist groups have overthrown the Syrian government: Hayat Tahrir al-Sham and the Syrian National Army. HTS used to be part of Al-Qaeda. They enforce strict Islamic law. UN reports show the SNA has previously targeted Christians with violence and torture. These groups say Christians can stay safely, but history tells a different story. Last time they controlled territory, churches were destroyed and Christians were forced to convert. Thousands more are trapped, hoping to escape before it's too late. If you want updates on persecuted Christians in Syria, follow along for more.
Just like when they were not safe in 2012, when al-Julani, then leader of Jabhat al-Nusra, and after HTS, managed to reduce the Christian population in Syria from 10% before the war to 2% now. That's 1.5 million in 2012 to 300,000 in 2022 via widespread persecution, murder, and the destruction of churches
in Afghanistan. And the group that has now stormed Damascus, that has taken the capital of Syria after an 11-day offensive. They're called HTS, but they used to be called Al-Qaeda in Syria. Jabhat al-Nusra was the official Al-Qaeda affiliate in Syria. Their leader is a man named Abu Mohammed al-Julani, who got his start fighting American troops in Iraq in the early 2000s. And in Idlib province, where they took over 9 years ago, they drove out almost all the Christians. They drove out most of the Druze, this other minority group. They killed many of these religious minorities, and they took most of their property. And they've been governing Idlib province under Sharia law ever since. Now, in these past 12 days, they've been putting out messages saying, we're not coming to hurt anybody. Christians don't have to be afraid. Druze don't have to be afraid. We just want to get rid of the dictator. The question is, can they be trusted?
Well, the Taliban said that too, did they not? In Afghanistan. I mean, we heard this again and again. They're going to respect women. They're not going, and look at where Afghanistan is, a year even after some of those statements were made, horrific situation there now.
Absolutely. I mean, this is what you want to say if you're in their position right now, because they're angling to get the support of the world for their new regime.
According to Wikipedia, guys, Christianity in Syria, this is what it says. Pay attention, all right? However, in recent times, the Syrian Christian community has faced numerous challenges, including ongoing and severe persecution, displacement, and immigration. Christians in Syria made up about 10% of the pre-war Syrian population, but now make up less than 2%, falling from 1.5 million in 2011 to just 300,000 in 2022 due to widespread persecution by Islamic terrorists and the impact of the Syrian civil war. Christians in Syria have also been subjected to violence and discrimination by Islamic State fighters during their control of large areas of the country. Their churches have been converted into military headquarters and their property confiscated. Persecution of Christians in Syria has further intensified since in Aleppo, the country's second largest city, the proportion of Christian residents fell from 12%, pre-war to 1.4% in 2023, with more than 20 churches damaged during the war. The city of Idlib, a HTS stronghold for quite some time before they took over the country, has been almost entirely depopulated of its Christian population under Islamic rule. Some governments and organizations, including the United States, have claimed that the persecution of Christians in the Middle East and North Africa, especially in Syria and Iraq, constitutes an act of genocide. This is how bad it is, guys. This is on Wikipedia. You can go and read it. So when Islamist al-Julani says minorities like Christians and Druze and Alawites have nothing to fear, he's practicing taqiyya. He's lying. Why? Because history tells us a different story. And their Quran and Hadiths also tell us a different story.
Now, you talked about what happened to the Christians, in recent years, obviously under HTS. What is the fear? And I think we know what you're going to say here, but what is the fear moving forward? They take control. You have this, radical Islamic regime potentially that is in charge. What happens to the Christians and other minority groups throughout Syria, not just in pockets, now the entire country?
And so in the jihadist worldview, there are a few different levels of people under Islamic law, right? So at the top, you have Muslims who are members of the community, full members. Then below, you have another level for Christians. Christians are called people of the book. In the jihadist worldview, they're following a religion that was revealed before Muhammad came, but it kind of got screwed up. So they can keep their religion as long as they pay extra tax, as they don't own weapons, as they're not allowed to testify against Muslims in court, as long as they're subject to the Muslims. Then you have a third category, which is for heretics or polytheists, so-called. And jihadists put Alawites and Druzes in this category. And this is 15% of the country. And in this category, these people are supposed to be either forcibly converted or killed.
Okay, just to also show you that the Quran and the Hadiths also support the behavior of these jihadists. Okay, we're going to look at Sahih al-Bukhari, Volume 1, Book 8, number 387. And here's what it says. Allah's apostle said, I have been ordered to fight the people till they say none has the right to be worshipped by Allah. And if they say so, prayer like our prayers, face our Qibla and slaughter as we slaughter, then their blood and property will be sacred to us, and we will not interfere with them except legally, and their reckoning will be with Allah. There's also other verses like Surah 9:29. I'm sure you guys have heard about that surah there. Where it tells Muslims to fight the Christians, the people of the book, until they pay the jizya, which is an extra tax, and feel subjugated. All right? So the behavior of these jihadists is supported by the Quran and the Hadiths. That's where they get it from. That's where the inspiration comes from. Now, guys, listen. The persecution of Christians in Muslim countries is a well-known, documented fact that unfortunately the West chooses to ignore because the West is also anti-Christian. Christians are killed by the thousands, and their churches are desecrated and destroyed every year by Islamists. This is why the official Christian population in Muslim countries always seems to decrease every year. Guys, this is a well-known fact. All you have to do is Google it, and it's that simple. Websites like Open Doors break down statistically how bad the persecution of Christians is country by country. All right, this is Open Doors. This is the website. As you can see, 4,998 Christians were murdered for their faith last year, guys. All right, last year. Look at the countries. Look at the countries here. North Korea is actually first. And then it's mostly Muslim countries: Somalia, Libya, Eritrea, Yemen, Nigeria, Pakistan, Sudan, Iran, Afghanistan, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on, as you can see, guys. Let's just look at some more of these statistics. All right, so 4,998 Christians killed worldwide last year. Also, alarming rise in closure of churches and buildings. Some 15,000 churches or public Christian properties were attacked or closed in 2023. That's 7 times the number recorded in 2022. 2/3 of these were in China, around 10,000, where intrusive surveillance and suffocating restrictions are forcing many Christians further underground. All right, it's no joke when we say that Christian is the most persecuted religion in the world, guys. And the reason why that is because Christianity is the truth. All right, that's why all these ideologies want to kill us all. All right, isn't it funny that we are also the biggest religion in the world? Now, what's the solution? If you call yourself a Christian and you are not speaking up against these injustices committed against your fellow Christians, you are failing to love your neighbor. If you are a Christian and you are not uniting under a political cause for the purpose of influencing society with Christian values, you are failing to love your neighbor. And I don't mean voting for a conservative party either. I mean voting for a Christian party, all right? Islam, not Muslims, is an evil religion, and only by Christians being faithful to Christ can we rescue both Christians and Muslims from this evil ideology, which is Islam. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the reaction. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time, all right? Peace.